5, 4, 3, 2.
What makes you say that?
Hello, friends. Welcome to What Makes You Say That? This is episode 2. My name is Brian Williams, and I am thrilled to be joined once again by my esteemed colleague and all-around good guy, Mr. John Kerr. How are you doing today, John?
I'm fine, Brian. Thank you. Nice to be back.
Yeah, episode 1 was a lot of fun. Now, just like in sports, though, I think it's always important to warm up. How do you feel about a warm-up question today?
Okay. Yeah, you want to be sweating by game time. That's where I come from. So.
That sounds good. So today's warm-up question, just very quick to get the ball rolling here. What is the most awkward moment you've had, or most embarrassing moment you've had in the school?
Well, seeing as how this is just one episode, I'll have to pick one awkward, embarrassing moment. I think probably it was during a PD day just before winter break, and thankfully I was surrounded by my good friends and other faculty members, and there were no students present because it may have been even more embarrassing had that been the case. But I was in a teacher's room and we were just tidying up before the break, and we were putting books away, and a book fell off the desk onto the floor, and I bent down to pick it up, and much to my surprise, I ripped my pants. I ripped the seam of my pants clean up from crotch to belt loop, and it was so loud. People asked, "What was that?"
Yeah, I was actually
split my pants.
I was under the table. I thought we were under fire.
and then I think even more embarrassing may have been when Mrs. Friesen, who, as you know, is a very capable seamstress, I was walking around the school, for the next half an hour, wrapped in Mr. Leipzig's Harry Potter's blanket. And Ms. Friesen said, "John, what's the matter?" I said, "I split my pants." She said, "Well, I can sew them for you." I said, "Oh, that'd be great." And then she looked at me and lowered her eyes a little bit, and she said, "Do you want me to take them out just a little bit?"
Oh my, that is a great story. I didn't remember the last part, but that's, yeah.
But anyway, she fixed them like a pro, and I still have them, and I can still wear them. So, but yes, that was slightly embarrassing.
Well, that sounds great, and I know, for me, I know if people have been around the school recently, there's probably a prediction out there as to, for me, what the most embarrassing moment was, and that would be the doll assembly and me blowing up a chair. But I got to tell you, we're saving that. I have a theory about that day, as you know, a conspiracy, if you will, but not today. Rest assured, we will get into this story and this conspiracy that I have about the doll assembly on a future episode. So please stay tuned. We got a great episode for you planned. We have a week in review, a discussion of a quote circulating around education social media circles right now, a discussion with our university guidance guru, Mrs. Jennifer McDonald, about what this whole situation means for our graduates and so much more. But every episode starts the same way. So let's hear that quote, Mr. Kerr.
All right. If you tune into episode 1, you know I'm reading a sonnet a day. This quote is not from a sonnet, but if you want to check it out, relates closely to sonnet 33. And this actually comes from Shakespeare's Two Gentlemen of Verona, Act 1, Scene 3. And it goes like this. "Oh, how this spring of love resembleth the uncertain glory of an April day, which now shows all the beauty of the sun, and by a cloud takes all away." So just sticking with the April theme, it's been a tough month, and although the sun is shining, there's been no shortage of clouds.
That's a great quote. Definitely something to think about, and very fitting for the start of episode 2. So it's been another week of the BH Online Academy, but also another week of just socially distancing ourselves. John, tell me a little bit about what was going on in the Kerr household and what was going on with you and your classes this week.
Unfortunately or fortunately was a lot like last week. Definitely helps kind of knowing that there's a rhythm now. The scheduling is kicking in. try to get daily exercise, try to get daily reading time, working. Definitely starting to get some questions from students. And, but yeah, largely just staying in and try to get this moving to the next phase. Very similar to last week.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true of anybody or of everyone these days moving forward. This week was much like last week. Any bike rides?
I did go on Friday last week with William, who I said, should we turn around here? And he goes, no, let's keep going. And of course, then we ended up in mud and my bike was clean and then it's not clean. But the good news is I have lots of time to wash my bike. But yeah, no, still in the basement, trying to keep her going.
And the classes were good?
Yeah, always. I've, again, really been reading Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential. And one of the things I'm so impressed with students, just showing up on time and doing what they say they're going to do. Bourdain says that the restaurant industry, the thing that he still remembers is that being late is never a good thing and being on time is always a good thing. So bonus quote today.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, we're so lucky to have 2 quotes today. 2 quotes for episode 2. We're gonna count up. Yeah, I agree that the students have been amazing in terms of being on time and in terms of attendance. It certainly seems like they are eager to learn and eager to connect, which is something I think that we all need at this moment.
And I know that your week was probably pretty similar, but I also know that on Saturday you got to do what a few people are getting to do. And that's celebrate a birthday during COVID-19, quarantine, social isolation, party time. Tell us something about that.
Yeah, hey, it was a great birthday in terms of the same number of people came to my party that have come for the last few years, and that is just my very immediate family, like my wife, my dog, and my child. No visitors, but some well wishes, and you know what? I still had my birthday dinner, and that is, we did have wings. So although the visits weren't there and the people couldn't come see me, I got lots of messages from both staff and students and from my friends and family, and I was able to eat at least one wing. And it's funny, you would think that it would be just kind of a different feel to the day because it's your birthday. And the answer to that is nope. It felt like Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. But it was nice to read the well wishes. So thank you for that. And, we've dropped the episode 1, and it was actually on my birthday, which was kind of convenient. But episode 1 came out. And what did you get as a response from the people you knew and in terms of that? How
nice to hear from faculty and former students. That I think was the real unexpected email. You kind of expect people that are part of it to say, hey, way to go, congrats, and that kind of thing. But to get an email from students who, have come home or have gone away and to know that they're listening, that didn't register until I saw that email. So that was really neat.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most interesting responses. We got a few emails, and that's why we're doing this. That is exactly why we are spending the time and bringing these stories and bringing these episodes to you. So we appreciate all the emails. We appreciate all the support, and we have lots of great things planned. So keep the emails coming, and I hope you keep listening. Well, it's that time of the show where we'd like to check in with some students. And today we're really lucky to actually have sisters joining us. So on the podcast today, on episode 2, we've got Mia Délaquis, middle school head girl, and Sophie Délaquis, the alumni prefect. How are you doing today, girls?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, it's great to be chatting with you. So we're very excited. Mia, I was just wondering, how are you staying connected with the middle school classmates? Obviously, as a school leader, I think it's important for them to hear your voice.
Yeah. So basically, we have all these homeroom calls. So the homerooms get to, see each other and talk to their homeroom teachers. And I've been making an effort to stay in touch with friends. So whether it be FaceTiming them or doing a Netflix party.
So it's been relatively easy to connect because of technology, obviously.
Yeah.
But not the same.
Yeah, not the same.
Okay, and obviously you have meetings with prefects and student council and things. So are there any plans coming up that we should be kind of looking out for and being excited for?
Well, we've been planning motivational Mondays. So there's activities and videos being sent out every Monday. I think this Thursday there's going to be a Kahoot that students can participate in. And there will be future Spirit Week activities that will be coming up to stay engaged and motivated.
All right. Well, that sounds great. I think one of the most difficult part of there's lots of difficult parts, but something for me was the cancellation of staff for students dodgeball.
I know.
That is usually a hit. Well, that sounds great. We're very excited for Spirit Week for sure, and I know the faculty and the staff are going to be joining you for that as well. Sophie, just switching gears a little bit, how have you been?
I've been doing pretty good. Yeah. Different. This is different, but I'm sure I've been doing well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, as a grade 12 student, obviously there's lots of uncertainty, but I'm hoping, and we've spoken with Mrs. Jennifer McDonald. Things seem to be going pretty well with the grade 12s.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've had a couple of meetings about what would happen in June and activities like that. And I'm sure we'll have an awesome end of year, but all these meetings that we have with classrooms and stuff, we get to see, not in person, but see people. So that's been really nice.
Exactly. Perfect.
Hi girls, just thanks for joining us today. And I know you're both great athletes, and Mr. Williams referenced that staff student volleyball game, and I've had the pleasure of receiving one of those very hard hit balls. And so I'm just curious, what are you two doing to keep up with the athletics and stay busy?
Well, our mother and father have been making us go outside, which is really good. We've been going for long walks, and Mia and I love to play volleyball, and we like to throw the Frisbee around. So we've been at least 4 or 5 times a week. We go outside and we do that. So
well, and hopefully the weather is on its way to more and more. Yeah, great. Sure.
Yeah, I think I mentioned staff for students dodgeball, which I think was also a plan. But yeah, we also had volleyball in the works too.
I know.
Yeah, the staff actually got, it seems, cheated out of a lot of victories.
Yeah.
At least that's what we're going to say this year.
Yeah. Well, that's great that you're staying active. I mean, it's something that we all need right now to take that break. And it's nice that you can do that together as a family and as sisters, which leads me to my next question. Last week we were looking and we saw a Throwback Thursday contest and video. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I think we should have the link up on the show notes here, but if you hadn't seen that, why don't you tell us how that went?
Yeah, so one of the Spirit muftis that we had planned for Spirit Week was the Throwback Thursday, which I think was one of our favorites. So we wanted to do that one first, and we got a really good response. Well, I got at least 25 emails from people, a lot of them being junior school, so that was really cute. And then I thought it would be fun to make a little video showing everybody's dance moves.
So Sophie and I kind of made a collab video with a bunch of these pictures that were sent in and videos of them dancing, including a few teachers actually, which was really funny.
That was awesome.
I did see that. Yeah. John?
I want to commend you. I know that you both have prefect positions in the school, and I just think it's great. Sometimes junior school, we don't have all the opportunity to do the fun things together, but I think you've done a great job of inviting them and including them. And of course, they're so fun, right? They're so creative, and I just want to say hats off to you for your efforts there. That's great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep that going, and make sure, especially for send us personal requests. I know Mr. Kerr and I are always good for a cameo appearance and things. And
if you're up for it, for sure.
I guess we'll see what the next one is, but yeah, send me an email. And so obviously, you guys have been pushing forward with schoolwork and with your prefect duties, but you've also been living in pretty close quarters for quite a while now. So why don't you? Is there any kind of stories that you got that maybe the sister best friend thing is breaking down a little? Any, let's say, disagreements or misunderstandings? John, do you have something?
I noticed that they mentioned Frisbee and walks, but they said nothing about the Hunger Games training that's going on. We want the truth here. We want the truth.
Well, so far we've actually been getting along pretty nicely,
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good. Well, usually I'm really busy with sports and out of school activities, so I'm out of the house quite often. Now that we're both in the house all day, every day,
We for sure see each other a lot more than what we would have before. To be honest, there's not that many bad stories.
Yeah.
If anything, if we're frustrated with one another, we just go in our own rooms and we take a little break.
Yeah.
So, but no, usually it's kind of nice having a sister to be able to play sports and play games, play cards. Oh, we've been playing lots of card games and stuff like that too. So.
Well, that sounds like the truth to me.
Yeah, we won't investigate any further. Hey, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to chat with us today, and have a great rest of the week, and keep doing the great work that you've been doing for the entire school community. Thanks again, girls.
Okay, thank you.
Very well.
Thank you.
So there are lots of great pieces of advice on social media for both parents, students, and teachers. If you're following within the education circles in social media and media in general, one of the best follows is edutopia.org. And I just want to touch on quickly, John, if I can, a quote that was posted. It was posted kind of like an infographic, but it was more of a quote from educator Brad Johnson. And the quote read like this: relationships before rigor, grace before grades, patience before programs, and love before lessons. I just thought that was a really nice picture of kind of the situation we're all in right now. How does that quote kind of apply to you and us and all of us?
Well, I think what we're seeing is we're realigning our priorities in a number of different ways and in a number of different areas, whether it be government, industry, education, family. And I think that Johnson's quote speaks to that realignment. And I think it's important that we recognize that maybe in the past we've focused on rigor and grades and programs instead of relationships, grace, patience, love, etc. And so sharing that here today, I think, is a real healthy reminder of a better way. And it's positive. It's not shifting from negative to negative or positive to negative. It's shifting from, I think, a place that we were doing the best that we could, but now we see that these are the most important things. I mean, in the political realm, Gwen Dyer was speaking today about the fact that pretty soon governments are going to be asked to choose between lives and livelihoods. So these dichotomies are relevant in many, many different ways.
Yeah, some very important words there. Relationships, grace, patience, and love. Coming up next, we'll take you into our grade 2 classes in the BH Online Academy. We are very happy to be joined by our grade 2 teaching team. This is Kera, Borodkin, and Roma, Hanson. How are you guys doing in junior school?
We're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing really well.
And I think obviously this is a time of learning for everybody, both teachers and students. So I guess the first thing we'd like to hear about is how have you been able to connect with the grade 2 students online? And we're a few weeks in now. How's it been going?
I think it's been going really well. We started using Seesaw as a communication tool this year. And so for us, it was a little bit less of a learning curve, just learning how to post lessons online and post content. And of course, there were some little bumps in the road, but I think we managed pretty well. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, using Zoom also has helped us a lot because it's definitely the highlight of every day when the girls get to see their friends and we get to communicate as best as we can being apart.
We started out doing just one Zoom call a week, and the girls at first, our first one was really long, and the girls were saying, "Oh, do we have to do this every day?" Then when we moved to one a day, we're actually finding that that everybody shows up on time. They're all super adorable, and it seems to be a real focusing activity for the rest of their day. So from parents, we've heard that when they get that Zoom call and they see each other and they see their teachers, then it kind of gives them a signal that now it's time to work. So they go straight from the Zoom call into work.
Yeah, we heard from a lot of parents that it was hard for them to tell their kids what to do. But if the teachers told them what to do every morning, they listened a lot better.
Yeah, I believe that. That was actually going to be a follow-up question about the how have the parents received the Zoom calls and setting this up? How has that been?
They love it. I think, like I said, they like when the teacher tells them the students what to do. It sort of sends them in the right direction for the day. And if they had any sort of burning questions, what we do is we send a plan out before we have our call. So if they have any questions about the call, about the day, then they could just ask us during the meeting. So it clarifies everything for them. And hopefully it leads them to an independent day of learning as best as we can.
I also heard from a parent that, and there's a number of parents that watch the Zoom calls too. And I heard from one parent that they like to watch their daughter interact with the class and with the teachers by Zoom. They just kind of sit in the background. Yeah. And then she says, well, now I can see what my daughter's learning behavior is like with her classmates and with her teachers. So she's been sending me emails and saying sharing observations and saying how interesting she finds that part.
Well, that's an exciting silver lining of this. And obviously in a time where we all are looking for those silver linings, I think that'd be a nice email or a nice comment to receive.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that sounds great. With the senior school students that we work with, it's the same thing. We set them up early in the week and allow them to work through and ask questions. So that's great that the routine, I guess, if I'm hearing correctly, is starting to be built and people seem to be following it pretty well. I
think so. I'm definitely noticing that when they arrive at the Zoom call, they're definitely ready to go. And I think it really gives a nice form to the day. Most
of what happens in these Zoom calls must be unexpected despite your best planning. But I'm wondering, have there been any big surprises or any unexpected or funny moments maybe that have come up over the first few weeks? I don't know, Kera, if you have a couple.
Yeah. Well, I think Mrs. Hanson and I would agree that one of the funniest moments was when everybody brought their pet into the Zoom meeting. So everyone, including myself, I was holding my puppy Poppy. Mrs. Hanson couldn't bring her horses into the Zoom call, but not this time, no. But we could work on that, Mrs. Hanson, maybe.
Tried to get him up the stairs.
We could just take your computer outside. And everyone was holding their puppy or their cat or even one had a rat.
Yes.
A rat, two, in fact. And everyone just had their puppy and, everyone was saying hi. And it was so joyous. It was just really fun.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
One of the most common questions was, how do we change the background? The girls were all really excited about
the virtual background.
Yeah. We had this nice Zoom lesson. It's like, okay, who's got a question? And we're all like keyed up. We've done a really good Zoom call. We're waiting for these academic questions. It's like, how did you put the Golden Gate Bridge in the background?
Yeah. Where are you?
So we decided we would get some instructions on how to fix your virtual background. So that was a very important, high at the priority list for grade 2s. Definitely.
Well, that sounds amazing. There sounds like there's some great activities and great experiences happening at all levels.
For sure. And I think, as teachers too, we're learning a lot as we go along. So we're very honest with the kids when we say, please bear with us. This might not work. We're trying, we're learning. And I think, it's a real honest relationship we have now with the kids. And they see that this is new for us too. And they're very patient and understanding.
Yeah. And we have some of them offering us early on. There were some offers of suggestions of what to do with with the Zoom calls. So
nice.
Miss lucky she's got a 10-year-old in the house, so she's helping her.
Yes, my daughter's become very helpful with the technology.
Teaching assistant, right?
I'm thankful. Before I lead the meeting, I say, Mia, please just stay beside me just in case something goes wrong. I need your help.
Yeah, don't go far.
Don't go far, yeah.
Well, that sounds great. I think thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. And I know that there's lots going on, and I think our listeners are going to be really excited to hear of all the great stuff happening in junior school and specifically in the grade 2 class. So keep up the great work, and I hope you guys want to come back and join us again on a future episode.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks
Brian.
a lot.
Roast the Host.
It's now time for a new segment on the show called Roast the Host, where John and I are going to test each other on specific knowledge that we believe the other person should know. How does that sound, John?
It sounds challenging.
I think it will be. But I think this one I took careful. I was very careful in how I selected the question for you today. I really believe this is a question that you are going to be able to answer.
Okay.
I think for the first time we do this, I was trying to be a little bit more. And I think the listeners, when they hear the question, I think they're going to be like, "Oh, he knows this, no problem." No pressure.
Yeah, no feeling.
So for the first ever Roast the Host question, John, what is the longest word ever penned by Shakespeare?
No idea.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think the longest word I was familiar with was anti-disestablishmentarianism, but I have no idea.
That's not a Shakespeare word.
Well, it makes me feel a lot better about my question to you.
Well, Shakespeare's longest penned word is 27 letters long, and it's a Latin word which denotes a state of being able to achieve honors. And I'm going to try to pronounce this. I think it's harder to pronounce than spell, but it's honorific alibitudinitatibus.
There you go. Well done.
The longest word used by Shakespeare. It's from one of his early comedies, Love's Labour's Lost. It's believed that this play was penned in the mid-1590s for performance at the Inns of Court before Elizabeth I. So I honestly thought you might have come across that.
Yeah, no, I'm not good with I wouldn't be good on Jeopardy, I don't think.
All right. So your score remains at 0.
All right. So I didn't put a great deal of thought into the question that I'm about to ask you, and it's a very different type of question, but Mr. Williams, you're a history teacher, and I think you teach history of Canada. How important do you believe the beaver has been to shaping this great nation?
Well, that is an excellent question, and I feel sorry for the question that I asked you now. Because specifically, that is something which I guess my question wasn't. That's something that we talk about directly in History of Canada, and every grade 11 student, past or present, is yelling into their phone right now. And so obviously the Canada realistically was founded based on that fashion style of the beaver hat in Europe. And that allowed the fur trade to be established and essentially more of the land to be explored. I don't know if I have time to do an essay on it, but I think that's the gist of it. And I think that was your question.
Yeah, no, good job. You get the point today.
All right. So if we're going to keep a running tally, it is 1-0, although the level of difficulty was drastically different for John and I in that one. But a good first attempt at Roast the Host. So the response to episode 1 was amazing. We were very happy to hear from all of you. And what we'd really like, and I want to remind everybody now, is that you can contact the show anytime at bhpodcast@balmoralhall.ca. Questions, comments, anything like that we can use on the show. We can use your ideas for discussions and games and things like that. So we would really like it if you if you really want to contact any one of us or the show as a whole, to send an email, and we'll try to use that in an upcoming episode. So bhpodcast@balmoralhall.ca. And I'm calling on all alum and parents and whoever to connect with the show somehow, some way. We'd love to chat with you in an upcoming episode. I think that we're trying to bring the community together, and this is a great way to do so. We are thrilled to be joined now by our university guidance guru, Mrs. Jennifer McDonald. Welcome, Mrs. McDonald.
Hello there. Thanks for having me.
So busy times for everybody, but I think perhaps none more so than for the grade 12s. How are the grade 12s doing, in your opinion, so far, in terms of what is their main areas of concern?
Well, they're doing really well. They're on track with regard to their applications and their admissions. Many of them have decided what their intentions are and have accepted offers. So some are considering what if, like what will happen. So that's where, the uncertainty and a little bit of the anxiety comes in. But at the moment, they're all keeping super positive and looking forward to doing what they expect to do. They're in close contact with the universities. They're monitoring their next steps, choosing courses, and conferencing with me through all of it. So I'm keeping in close touch with them. They're doing really well. I think at the moment it sounds good.
Have you heard anything from the universities themselves? Any pieces of advice or directions kind of statements?
For sure. I'm monitoring the different decisions going on, and every university is different. They will all have a different circumstance, of course, some based on population, location, and just general practice. But the one thing that's common amongst them all is the statement that they encourage students to take advantage of any supplementary learning materials provided to them by the schools, to be as well prepared as possible for university studies. And I think at Balmoral Hall, we've got that under control. I think we're doing that really well. They're keeping in touch. They know, the girls, from my conversations with them, they feel well informed and have great opportunities to continue their fundamental studies.
Yeah, great. That's good news.
Yeah, that does sound very encouraging, and I'm glad to hear that you have your pulse on what's happening with the grade 12. So I think that's great to hear from you. What can the girls do now from home in order to continue to prepare beyond kind of what you were just mentioning?
Well, they're keeping close touch with the universities because everything is different university to university. They're monitoring the response to the COVID-19 from the admissions. They're trying to keep in touch with what the next steps will be. And that's what's key, is the communication with the universities. They're also trying to maintain a good mental health and keep fit as well.
Yeah, I think you nailed the word there, communication. We talk about that on every level, how important communication is from our own relationships to our future planning, right? So I'm glad to hear that message going out from the universities and from you.
Well, that's right. It's not only important to keep in touch with their current teachers as far as what are the expectations and responsibilities toward the end of this year, but also communication with the university representatives themselves, the admissions departments, and for our elite athletes, the coaches that they are involved with. They as well as some fellowship opportunities that are out there. They have to know how to continue to be prepared and what's perhaps changing as things remain fluid.
Yeah, I can't imagine how busy it is in admissions departments and things like that with in terms of the universities trying to get ready for next year. Have you heard any updates about the fall from any universities or colleges?
Yeah, the admissions themselves are going on as usual. They're continuing from home. They're taking into consideration all of the information they already have from the students. Many offers are already out. Those that are not are looking into what they already have from students globally. And so that's continuing. In terms of the fall, well, summer sessions have been canceled globally. Anything that was going on in the summer pretty much has been canceled. There's different considerations, again, depending on the school. At the moment, normal is planned. However, I do know that universities are preparing for online information just in case they have to have an online start. Some are preparing for perhaps a later physical entry to the buildings, to the schools. And there are also potential delays to the athletic seasons. So they're looking at all of that, seeing what they can do, how they can modify to accommodate all of it. So I do know that there's nothing that's not on the table. They hope to continue in many cases, though they are prepared to continue distantly, perhaps, with an online and then eventual physical entry, or maybe even just delay the physical entry a bit.
Yeah, and there's, I think, lots of questions about sports and at the university level, at the professional level. It's I'd imagine not an easy time to navigate.
No, it's not. They're anxious because they're so excited to move on. One of the things I love the most about this job, and having done it for about 10 years now, is to see the joy and the rewards that they are reaping from all of their work and all of their efforts towards their goals. So that in itself, to see that there's some glitch at the moment, is what's sort of disheartening. However, that said, the schools are being really good. The universities are being really good about maintaining communication. Coaches for our athletes, some of them have apps for the athletes to follow. Some of them have a regular communication in terms of fitness plans. Our own coaches, and there's yoga out there. There's coaching plans as well to keep them fit and to try to keep them active. So the athletes are trying to maintain that, and I've seen them try with their little setups.
Yep. Patience and belief.
So obviously one of the highlights of the year, or the highlight of the year for the grade 12s, is graduation. But at Balmoral Hall, one of the other highlights of being a graduate, an upcoming graduate, is the doll assembly. Can you tell us or give us a little bit of info on the dolls? They are still being made, and how's the progress there?
Well, this is one of the best traditions that we have, I think. I am so honored to be involved in it. It's about a 50-year tradition where the 11s gift the grade 12 a rag doll that they make in their likeness, and it's a really special time. So the girls work really hard throughout the year, starting in October, to make these dolls. And for the most part, there's many of them already done. That the goal had always been to be done by spring break, giving some leeway. So many of them are done, and that's fantastic. The ones that were not completely done, I will say that they are being finished. Some girls took them home to work on from home. Others, they're in my living room, and I'm chipping away at them to get them done. So they will be done with equal loving care that the 11th would have given them.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like being at BH with those dolls.
It is. They're all sitting around in my living room watching me. So one of the things that's really special about them too is the accessories that the girls put on them. And so we're working on that. It's coming together really nicely. In fact, I got a parcel today. They're delivering the accessories to my house to add on to the dolls. And so there will be equal attention put to this year's doll assembly to make it very, very special for them.
Absolutely.
Good to hear.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know that everyone is going to be interested to hear how that goes down as well, but it will be amazing as always. Well, I just wanted to thank you very much for taking the time. We certainly appreciate chatting and catching up, and I'm really very pleased to hear that things are moving forward and that we're confident that graduation will come and go as it always does.
Thanks for your insight and the chat.
For sure. I'm super confident that things will move on quite well for them. They're going to proceed as they wish to do to follow their educational and career goals. I'm confident that they will end up doing what they love and loving what they do.
Amazing. Thanks again.
You bet.
Thanks. As we wrap up episode 2 of What Makes You Say That, I'd really like to thank all of our guests from today. Mrs. Kera, Borodkin, Mrs. Roma, Hanson, thank you very much for taking us into the world of the grade 2s. Mrs. Jennifer McDonald, thank you for your conversation with us on how our graduates are being affected by the situation and what's the plan for them moving forward. Thank you always to Mr. John Kerr for taking the time to join and ride shotgun with me here again today.
Well, I know now what I'm going to do when I've read the 154 sonnets. And that's to dig into Love, Labor's Lost.
Yeah, I think I think Mr. Kerr might have a harder question for me next time. Big thanks to the Délaquis sisters, Mia and Sophie, for joining us and allowing us to check in with the prefects. And a big thanks to producer Chris in the booth for always taking care of us and for dealing with us in general. We'll be back next week with episode 3, where we'll connect with Miss Lois McGill, Balmoral Hall School's Director of Innovation and Technology, and speak to her about, well, technology, and also the BH Remote Learning Hub, and how it's allowing us to connect with our students despite the distance between us. We'll also take you into the virtual classrooms again with discussions with more faculty members, that and more metaphors and stories and fun. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, friends.
Take care, everyone.
What Makes You Say That is a Balmoral Hall School production, all rights reserved.